Assalamualaikum everyone. Our group is Group 1 and we will discuss about Ijarah on 2 Islamic banks. I am Neichi and my group members include Haziq, Faris, Nick and Fatin. Our group chose Bank Islam Malaysia and Bahrain Islamic Bank. Bank Islam Malaysia is one of the first banks in Malaysia to introduce Sharia-compliant banking products to the Malaysian public, and the same goes for Bahrain Islamic Bank, which is also the first Islamic bank in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatina. I will present about the background of Bank Islamic Sharia and Bahrain Islamic Bank. Bank Islamic Sharia was established in July 1983 as a Malaysian and Southeast Asia first Islamic bank. It also Malaysian first public listed Islamic bank on the main market of Islamic Sharia. The bank provides banking and financial solutions that strictly adhere to the Sharia rules and principles. The bank offers Islamic products such as Mudarabah, Musyarakah, Ijarah, and many more. Bahrain Islamic Bank was one of the Kingdom Bahrain first Islamic bank incorporated in 1979. The bank is listed on the Bahrain Bourse and operates under the supervision and regulator framework of the Central Bank of Bahrain. The bank also offers quality of Islamic products and services such as Mudarabah, Musyarakah, Ijarah that compliance with Sharia requirements.
The literal meaning of Ijarah is rent. In figure, it means contract for hire of person or services or usufruct of a property. To relate it to Islamic banking, it means leasing different types of assets to the lessee for a stream of rental payments in a Sharia-compliant way. There are 3 types of Ijarah: operational Ijarah, Ijarah Muntahiyah by Tamlik, Al-Ijarah Tummay Al-Bay. In operating Ijarah, there is no transfer of ownership. However, for IMBT and ITAP, there is a transfer of ownership at the end of the leasing period. There is a slight difference between the two though. It is that for IMBT, the contract is unilateral, whereas for ITAP, the contract is bilateral.
So, AOF has provided a new guidance on Ijarah leasing, which is called the Financial Accounting Standard 32. Previously, we are using the FAST 8. Now we are changed to a new one, which is a FAST 32. It's more on the it's for the Ijarah Muntahiyah Bitamlik and as well as operating Ijarah. What they did is they changed the recognition, measurement as well as the new tax of impairment and other things as well. So now I would like to discuss about Al-Ijarah Thumma Al-Bay, or known as ITAP. So in Malaysia currently, we don't have enough, we are lacking of Sharia framework to cover the issues on Ijarah. So any dispute in Ijarah will be brought in a normal court or conventional court instead of Sharia court. So now regarding the inconvenient part, ITAP also can be inconvenient to the customer because the contract consists of 2 parts, which is leasing and selling. So because of this, they need to process a lot of documents, so it might come as tedious. So the last issue I would like to share is about the GARA and the fairness, because currently in Malaysia we know that the Ijarah on rentals, the customer has to pay the tax, maintenance as well as the insurance. However, these costs should be expensed by the bank, not by the customer, because the customer obligation is only have to make a rental payment. So another issue is about the GARA, which is about the LIBOR rate, because currently Islamic bank use the LIBOR rate as a guideline to calculate their profit. So this is wrong because it contains interest rate. So it is not permissible in Sharia.
In terms of regulatory framework, Ijarah in the annual reports of Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad are being prepared in accordance with the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standards (MFRS), International Financial Reporting Standards (IFRS), Companies Act 2016, and the Islamic Financial Services Act (IFSA) 2010. While Ijarah in the annual reports of Bahrain Islamic Bank are being prepared in accordance with the Financial Accounting Standards (FAS) issued by the AUFI starting from 1 January 2021, and also the rules and regulations issued by the Central Bank of Bahrain. In terms of recognition, lease-based contracts in Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, such as Ijarah Muntahiyah Bitamlik, are recorded in the financial statements as a financial assets measured at amortized cost based on the concept of substance over form and in accordance with MFRS 9, while Bahrain Islamic Bank recognizes Ijarah as a right of use usufruct asset and net Ijarah liability. The right of use asset is being measured at cost on initial recognition, while net Ijarah liability is being measured at gross Ijarah liability plus deferred Ijarah cost. In terms of measurement, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad measure its ijarah at fair value through other comprehensive income, while in Bahrain Islamic Bank, the right of use usufruct assets are measured at historical cost, while net ijarah liability is being measured at amortized cost. In terms of functional and presentational currency, in Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, it is being presented in Malaysian ringgit, while in Bahrain Islamic Bank, it is being presented in Bahraini dinars. In terms of disclosure, Ijarah Muntahiyah Bitamlik is being disclosed at the statement of financial position under the assets account, while in Bahrain Islamic Bank, Ijarah Muntahiyah Bitamlik is being disclosed at the statement of financial position under the assets account, while net Ijarah liability is under the other liabilities account in the statement of financial position.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will present about the presentation on financial statement, which is Ijarah contract against the total financing. For Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, Ijarah contract can be found in statement of financial position under the name of financing and advance and others. It showed the downtrend in 5 years, because in 2017 the percentage was 0.6%, and then it decreased to 0.2%. In 2019, it dramatically decreased to 0.22%, and 2021 is 0.21%. And lastly, it showed the minimum of point, which is 0.16. For Bahrain Islamic Bank Berhad, it show a increase pattern, which is in 2017 the percentage was 24.41%, and then it slightly increased to 24.76% in 2018, and in 2019 and 2020 it increased by 1.85% and 0.59% respectively in Ijarah financing against the total financing. And lastly, it showed the biggest increase, which is to 29.86% from it.
Increase in net profit margin throughout the years for both banks show that the Islamic banking system has grown throughout the years, even though the figures fluctuated. As the industry grows, this indicates that there are more customers relying on Islamic banking products, and the majority of the customer base is made up of Muslims. The banks should take more responsibility and accountability, since it is not the customer's responsibility to ensure the reliability of Sharia compliance, because the majority of the customers have little to no knowledge about Islamic banking products because of its complexity and technicality. Therefore, as the market grows, the banks should always focus on how to improve the current products. For instance, issues such as including elements of Gara in an Islamic financial product should not be tolerated, since Gara is one of the worst sins Allah has prohibited for His people to commit. AOP and international Islamic organizations should be able to come up with their own frameworks and guidelines that are standardized worldwide, so that conventional bank interest rate won't be used as a reference in Islamic banking products. Also, by having a standardized framework worldwide, banks won't have to rely on conventional leasing cases, which can cause wrong judgments and decisions according to Sharia. Also, when we compare against conventional leasing, Islamic leasing products might be viewed as a second option, especially due to the complexity of the contract, as well as how some revenue expenses are levied on the customers instead of the lessor. From an Islamic perspective, there is a clear hikmah behind everything that is set out, and it is for the fairness and justice of both parties. Banks should have proper marketing that highlights the importance of it and explain the reason behind it, so that more customers, both Muslims and non-Muslims, can clearly understand. This way, the banks can pierce through different markets and grow more. To conclude, the increase in net profit margin throughout the years for both banks show that the Islamic banking system has grown throughout the years, and this indicates that there are more customers relying on Islamic banking products, and the majority of the customer base is made up of Muslims. The banks should take more responsibility and accountability, since it is not the customer's responsibility to ensure the reliability of the Sharia compliance, because the majorities of the customer have little to no knowledge of how Islamic banking products work, mainly because of its complexity and technicality. Therefore, as the market grows, the bank should always focus on how to improve the current products. By working on the issues, the Islamic products can grow more in the future.